The idea of the tree came about as a gift to the community, as something fun and memorable that would put Enid on the map.
When Kyle initially said, I'm going to bring the world's tallest Christmas tree to Enid, Oklahoma, I think we thought, like, okay, you know, I don't really know if we thought that for one, it was possible. For two, we even knew how to do it.
When he says something's happening, it's happening. And it was happening.
It happened. Kyle wanted this to be a gift to the community, to just bring back the true meaning of Christmas.
Kyle Williams called me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of this project, that he had an idea for this, and told me that they wanted to bring the world's tallest fresh-cut Christmas tree to Enid, Oklahoma.
You can't do something like this as a city. It takes a lot of people. Volunteer coordinators. Although we started it as a family, this is a Enid community event.
We started in December of 2020 in order to prepare us for the event that was in November of 2021.
Today is a really big day for all of us that we believe will become an annual Christmas event here in Enid. This project started out as a family project between our children, but quickly morphed into something a lot bigger. Today, we're excited to unveil a 42-day event called The One. The tree will come from the Shasta National Forest in Northern California, from trees that have already been selected for cutting for lumber. The Christ tree, I believe, will be the tallest fresh-cut tree in the United States and in the world in 2021. Christ tree will be lit on Friday, November 26th at Main Street Enid's Enid Lights Up the Plains event. And this year, we're going to really light up the plains.
Kyle Williams and Carol, what they have done here and contributed to this community is going to make a generational impact.
We knew it was going to be a great opportunity as well to put faith forward and bring God back into Christmas, because we have to be honest, 2020 was rough for a lot of people. We had a large amount of people that weren't receptive to the idea of what we were doing. And that was a little difficult, not only for myself, but I know for the whole team, because we've already worked so hard when we did that unveiling, and to see some of the posts, some of the messages that came in and were kind of hurtful.
Nicole from Winfield did a phenomenal job promoting and pushing out the facts about where the tree came from, where the private funded dollars were coming from. We had people who said things of, who's paying for this? Is this our tax dollars?
140-foot tall tree in Enid, where are we going to put this? You know, and what public space would work the best to do something like this? And yes, it created a lot of challenges of how do you keep a 140-foot tall tree in place where the whole thing doesn't blow over and injure someone? And so those were definite engineering challenges that had to be overcome.
After that, it just moves, the challenges move, and you know, what kind of infrastructure do we have to have in place? And we worked with the city on that, some local engineering to make sure we had those kind of things, and then power requirements. And
while all these improvements supported the One Christmas Tree event, it also supports other events that are already occurring or in planning.
We have created a space that worked for this event, but we've also made improvements that are going to work for events of different variation all through the future.
I don't think anybody had any idea on how you find the world's tallest Christmas tree. And, you know, first of all, we had to figure out how tall is the world's tallest right now. We did know that San Clemente, California had the world's tallest at 125 feet. So we decided to go for 140. What kind of tree do you cut down? Who cuts it down? Who finds that tree? There are so many elements as part of this project that that were just such a question, and you just had to go step by step to figure those things out.
Bob Valonis contacted the Natural Resource and Ecology Management Department here at OSU and asked if they had a Christmas tree expert on faculty.
Whenever you want a tree that big, it's just not a cut it down and take it home type deal.
We helped them determine what species we wanted, and that turned out to be a true fir. True firs don't lose their needles. They do grow fairly large, and they have quite a nice Christmas tree appearance.
When I first started on the project, we were reading articles on the largest Christmas tree in the country, and they sourced a Christmas tree company out of California.
It was an awesome idea, but how do you execute bringing the world's tallest Christmas tree to Enid?
I contacted a company that offered to fly it from the west to Enid, Oklahoma. They wanted over $500,000 for that flight, so obviously we did something else.
But we're blessed in Oklahoma with some great wind companies who haul wind blades and are professional and are amazing. Takeon is our transport company who's going to go pick up the tree and bring it here.
I mean, as you bring a tree from California to Oklahoma, you're going through days and you're going through all sorts of weather and all sorts of obstacles. What if they hit construction, and what if they hit a snowstorm, which they did? Or is it going to be here on time? And we're getting everybody excited to see the tree come in on October 13th.
The day the tree arrived was just the coolest day.
You know, it was so nice to have people line the streets and stop and take pictures and, you know, see the kids out watching the tree go down the road with the big sign on it. And
I didn't even know until the week before, and all of a sudden I got my permits and it said Christmas Tree, California. So I really didn't even know, what was going on until I found out what it was the one. Honestly, I didn't feel as super excited until I hit this, and then people just taking pictures. I was almost in tears coming too, just seeing all the people. And then when we turned the corner and you just seen this, it just overwhelming.
But as it pulled up, there was a lot of negativity about the way that the tree looked.
To try to prepare people for what the tree would look like when it came in from California. I think that it still brought excitement, but again, we heard a lot of, that looks like a Charlie Brown tree.
It was just a toothpick with a couple of branches on it. As they brought the tree in and they parked it over the area of where it would be put in, we had one of the most beautiful sunsets. And I think it was God's way of saying, here you go, you were patient with me, you trusted me. It was just a truly amazing moment.
At sunrise, the morning after the tree arrived, a giant crane lifted the tree and set it in the base where it would spend the next 2 months on display.
Along with the tree comes 3 truckloads of branches, and so they will be filling in the tree, and then they will be fireproofing it with a retardant. And they'll come back the week before that we light this at Enid Lights Up the Plains. Then they will add the lights and decorations at that time.
Our daughter had suggested that since this is Christ's tree, that we, as an organization of people that are coming together to do this, we needed to do a service project in our community. And so what we decided to do is to donate 100 Christmas trees to needy families within the community.
I think a lot of us take for granted that we have a tree every year, but there's a lot of families out there that aren't able to afford that. And so we're able, as a community, to come together to raise the money to buy these trees and to provide that for people that need a tree this Christmas that haven't had one.
We just packed 100 Christmas trees with decorations, lights, cords, stars that will be given out in our community. 50 will be given out through Forgotten Ministries, and then 25 each through Catholic Charities and also to RSVP for seniors who don't have Christmas trees.
On the morning of December 4th, dozens of volunteers loaded up and delivered the 100 trees to families around Enid.
We just moved back from Colorado a few months ago, and all of our Christmas stuff was in my grandparents' barn, and when my grandpa passed away, we don't have any of it anymore, so it's a real blessing to be able to have a tree this year, and we really appreciate it.
The tree is beautiful. The way you guys came over and did it, everything was awesome. I really enjoyed this experience, and everything that you guys did for me. I thank you guys.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Setting up the world's tallest fresh-cut Christmas tree brought some unexpected challenges.
So the decorating crew for the tree arrived late last night and started working this morning, but the problem is the wind is blowing at like 27 to 30 miles an hour, and these aerial lifts aren't rated for that kind of wind.
Today, we're supposed to have crazy winds here shortly, so we've been trying to get it done before they come up.
Also, there are several branches that broke off about 3/4 of the way up, so over 120 feet high, that they've got to get up there to fix before they can put all the lights and decorations on.
Boom lift, this is a 135-foot boom. It almost makes it to the top sometimes. In Oklahoma, this is one of the largest booms that we were able to get, and it barely makes it to the top.
Several times a day, people would bring the tree crew food, snacks, and encouragement.
This is my favorite project just because of the community. The Enid community, honestly, is second to none. Nobody's been more hospitable. It's the best. It's my new favorite tree just because of the community.
It took the tree decorating crew about 4 days to completely decorate the tree with 20,000 lights and 10,000 ornaments despite the windy conditions. As opening night drew closer, all of the other elements that were part of the event started to come together.
These are the ancillary trees that will be adjacent to the Christ tree. I've done them monochromatically. All the colors of these trees are all the colors that will be on the main tree. And then there'll be arch trees. Those will be kind of the entry points that you can walk under. Be a great photo opportunity.
Kyle and Carol Williams now needed to choose who would be the grand marshal that would light the tree.
Who we're going to select isn't going to be selected because of position, money, sponsorship, or fame. It's going to be the person we're going to select to be the grand lighting marshal, to flip the switch, will be just someone we want to honor because of their service.
Kyle Williams calls and he said, you are on the short list. And I said, the short list? The short list for what? He said, well, there's a tree. He said, the tallest tree in the world is going to be coming to Enid. And he said, I have a few people that I need to talk to, and I want to decide who is going to light the tree. And I thought for a minute and I said, oh, okay. So then that was the end of that conversation. Then he called me while I was on fall break and he said, I have decided that you are going to be the one to light the tree. And the more I started thinking about it, the more I got excited about it. I felt like it was an honor.
There was a lot of coordination between Enid Lights Up the Plains and the One Committee for the opening night. And the idea was to try to make it as seamless as possible so that both events could happen with the parade and the fireworks and then the lighting of the tree.
We actually started planning with Main Street Enid. I worked very closely with Natalie Rapp on that. We started planning, I believe, in like April or May.
They wanted to debut the Christmas tree that evening, and so we worked together with them on all the logistics on that.
One of the struggles in trying to figure out too is where is everybody going to park? You know, we know that in the past there was 8,000 to 10,000 people attending this event, but this year we anticipated to have a lot of out of Enid visitors, statewide visitors, or even nationwide visitors that had heard about this event. So where were we going to put all these people? Also thinking about, was everything going to be timed directly? Because that was something that we had to make sure that we worked on. You know, the switch was going to flip. The tree had to go on at that exact moment or it wasn't going to work out and it wasn't going to line up. Also, was the choir going to sing at the right time or the fireworks going to go off?
Don was in charge of making sure that everything came on when it was supposed to come on. He just wanted to double check everything, you know, about an hour before the event. And so we went by to check everything and realized, oh, this isn't plugged in and ready to go.
Oh gosh,
And
I didn't know that.
You just, thank goodness for double checking.
Uh-huh.
Or we would have had a unhappy crowd and a
3, 2, 1, fail.
Yeah.
We had some issues with controlling the area, the perimeter around the fireworks.
Have fireworks, of course, you know, you have all these explosives going off. You have to have an area that's marked specifically for fireworks. And so it was a pretty large area. And, you know, Enid Lights Up the Plains takes part in our downtown square area on the courthouse lawn. And we needed to get all of those people down to the Christmas tree, which is, you know, a few blocks away. Well, we had all of our firework area taped off, and after the parade, we expected everybody to start filtering their way down there.
There's probably 500 people walking around. And you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. And then they just started piling in. And then all of a sudden, you're on a stage and there's tens of thousands of people out there.
Once the parade ended, it was like the zombie apocalypse. We were like, there's no way we were gonna get all of these people down to the Christmas tree and be able to be on schedule. So we were on our walkie-talkies saying, we're probably gonna be on hold. We're probably gonna have to push this 10, 15, 20 minutes off.
I was walking over to the switch. It was like my stomach started getting really nervous because everything was supposed to be synchronized. And there was a little light down there on top of the stage that I had to keep my eye on that. So when that light went, I knew that the lights on that tree would go off.
But by the grace of God, all of those people made their way down and we were absolutely on time, not a minute later.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And when you saw the people standing there together and singing, and it was a sight we have not seen in years.
Was there ever a moment when you were just like,
The moment it lit up.
I knew from talking to the organizers that I was going to have 8 minutes to get the fireworks. I knew that each one of the exposures was going to be about 5 seconds, and if you know anything about photography, that's an eternity, especially when the wind is blowing at 30 miles an hour in a shaky bucket. So I don't know whether I should divulge this or not, but I really only got 3 pictures out of that 8 minutes. So lucky for me, one of those pictures was decent enough to make into large print.
On Sunday, December 5th, everything changed. About 10 p.m. that night, a cold front came through Enid and brought with it 50 to 60 mile per hour winds.
Enid Police Department. We were downtown driving around and we saw that the top of the Christmas tree, the big Christmas tree, like it's snapping. It's just kind of hanging from the very top.
You have strong winds blowing at it one way all day long, and then here comes the cold front, and as you're well aware, those winds can just slam that tree, and apparently it slammed it just right and broke the top of it off.
The phone rang at, I want to say between 10:10 and 10:15. It said City of Enid on my phone, and I answered, and it was the police. And they said, "Are you the person that's in charge of the tree?" And I said, "I work with it." And they said, "It broke." And I said, "What?" And they said, "It broke. It broke in half. There's decorations everywhere. We need you to come down right now because we don't know what to do."
I got the phone call from Bob Valonis. He had told me the tree broke and we have to get downtown.
I'll never forget the feeling. My heart sank and like my whole body got hot and I was like, no, this is my absolute worst nightmare.
I heard the words, remember Jesus rose on the third day. And I called Kyle and I said, I don't know how, but it's going to be back up there in 3 days.
I went down there, and sure enough, you could see that it had broken off. It was hanging on the side of the tree, but everything was still lit. When they said the tree broke in half, my heart just, I automatically assumed the worst, which is why I love working with Kyle, because he always assumes the best. And I see Kyle roll up in his truck, and I walk up to him and I said, "What do you think?" He said, "You know what, Bob? It's going to be all right."
Last night when I came down, it was a little bit of shock, but actually a real peace today. This is for a purpose. We don't know what that is. We'll figure it out, and we'll relight this tree, and it will be a beautiful tree, whether it's 140 feet or whether it's 115 feet.
I had reached out to Joe. We work with Joe in other areas, and he's got a crane and some bucket trucks that could do some things that if we had some maintenance issues, would he be available? And we worked out what it would take for him to make little light repairs or limb repairs. What we didn't know is on a Sunday night, late, we had the trees. But then once we had it on the ground, I changed my thought. It was, I think we can put this back up.
I think it wasn't until the next morning where I got the call that said, we're gonna reattach the top and we're gonna put a star on top.
When I heard that the plan was to put the tree back together, I was like, I can't wait to see this.
Start with, we're going to stand that tree up and start decorating it, put every guy wire and support we need on it beforehand. We're going to swing it all up in one piece. We're going to have a spike to line up the tree trunk. Then we're just going to start anchoring everything down, set the guy wires, and hopefully we'll be done by 5 o'clock.
We can fix this. One way or another, it's still going to be a great Christmas in Enid.
Yay! Not only is it fixed, it has a star.
While the tree snapping was probably one of the most stressful parts of the project, it was one of the most, I think it was one of the most biggest blessings that could have happened with the one. The fact that the tree snapping was something that really opened the eyes of people around the nation, around the world, to what we were doing and what the purpose was really truly a blessing, because that's when we started to get the Weather Channel interested and Fox Weather interested, and the statewide news stations were coming and doing interviews. So it was something that was really difficult, but we got the tree in front of a lot of people and its meaning, and that truly was, I think, an act of God.
I think the impact that it had after it was restored gave hope and gave a picture of what that looks like, and it really fits in completely to the narrative of sharing Christ and what that means.
Because of high winds and freezing temperatures, closing night ceremony was moved inside.
As we close out this wonderful 42-day event and gaze yet another last time at this beautiful tree, let us remember that Jesus Christ welcomes all of us who call upon his name. Enid's Christ tree stands even tonight, wind-battered, with historically high winds even for Oklahoma. This was simply the closing of chapter 1. This is not a one and done. So if our community will continue to help us, we can make this even better.
I think is really special and significant about the lights shutting out on the tree is that there's almost this understood element that we're all gathered to witness this, that it's like the light on the tree is going out, but we are all individually carrying that light with us as we go into the world. We are the light of Christ.
Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Today's the day. It's January 11th. It is about 6:30 a.m. The sun is just starting to come up, and today is the day they're going to take the tree down.
We took all the lights, all the ornaments off, stored them in the trailer, and now we're going to get ready to fall the tree and cut it up and mulch it down.
What a deal. It still smells fresh. It's just as beautiful as the day it arrived.
Some of the wood will be used for souvenirs, for different things, for the ornaments, for perhaps next year's tree. But the vast majority of it will be milled into lumber and provided to a nonprofit free of charge.
We are able to document that at least 35,000 unique visitors came into Garfield County that are from outside the county during that time. And so what that did for us was increased our retail sales revenue by $10 million during that time.
People are still talking about Enid Lights Up the Plains, when the tree turned on for the first time.
My feelings for this event is it's here to stay. We want this to happen every year, and we want to collaborate every year with the One team.
We've been praying about this for a long time. This is, it's been challenging at times for our families.
I know Kyle had one moment that he said he was done. We were running up against a lot of hurdles and challenges, and I said, let's take a deep breath. We're not stopping. We're gonna keep pushing forward. It was a lot more difficult than a lot of people realize.
But in order to do something for the community, it's well worth it. And we just look forward to providing a great experience for our community to enjoy a beautiful Christmas tree and be gently reminded of why we celebrate Christmas.
This is our daughter's very first Christmas, and so we just wanted to make it special and take her to see the One.
I think the tree is incredible.
It is really cool. Yeah. It was beautiful.
It was amazing. Oh, we love it.
It's amazing.
Yes, it's Christmas and cheery, and we're so excited to be part of the One Christmas Tree on the first annual.
We love Christmas.